The lights go out. 20,000 voices erupt into chaos. And in that moment, two men who've bled for this business, two warriors who've carried the weight of wrestling on their shoulders for 2 decades, stand face to face with microphones in hand and tears in their eyes. What happened on Monday Night Raw wasn't just another segment. It was the moment everything changed. It was the moment AJ Styles and CM Punk finally broke their silence, and what they said will echo through wrestling history forever. If you're not already part of the SLAMZONE family, right now is the time. Hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to walk you through isn't just another wrestling moment. This is poetry. This is pain. This is professional wrestling at its absolute finest, and you're going to want to be here every single week as we break down the moments that define this industry. Smash that notification bell, because when something this monumental happens, you need to be the first to know. Trust me on this one. Let me paint you the picture. The arena is electric. You can feel the tension radiating through the screen like static electricity before a lightning strike. CM Punk's music hits, and the Chicago crowd loses their collective mind. But there's something different tonight. There's no cocky smirk, no arrogant strut. Punk walks to that ring like a man carrying the weight of every battle he's ever fought, every bridge he's ever burned, every regret he's ever buried deep inside his chest. He climbs through the ropes, and he just stands there, breathing, thinking. The microphone trembles slightly in his hand, and you can see it in his eyes, that raw vulnerability that we almost never get from someone like Punk. This is a man who's built his entire legacy on being the voice of the voiceless, on speaking truth to power, on never backing down from anyone or anything. But tonight he looks human. Tonight he looks breakable. The crowd is chanting his name, CM Punk, CM Punk. It's deafening. It's beautiful. It's the kind of moment that reminds you why wrestling isn't just entertainment. It's emotion captured in its purest form. And then Punk raises the microphone to his lips, and the entire building falls silent. You could hear a pin drop. 20,000 people holding their breath, waiting for the words that are about to change everything. I need to say something, Punk begins, and his voice cracks. Just slightly. Just enough to let you know this is real, and I need you all to listen. The crowd erupts again, but he waves them down, and there's something in that gesture, something almost pleading. He needs this moment. He needs to get this out. AJ Styles, I know you're back there. I need you to come out here. Not to fight. Not to settle a score, just to talk. Man to man, wrestler to wrestler, legend to legend. The silence that follows is suffocating. Seconds feel like hours. The Titantron flickers, and then that unmistakable guitar riff tears through the speakers. AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. The man who redefined what it means to be a professional wrestler in the modern era. And as he walks out onto that stage, there's no pyro, no pageantry, just a man in his ring gear with a towel around his neck and eyes that have seen everything this business has to offer. AJ makes the walk down that ramp, and you can see the confusion on his face mixed with something else. Respect, caution, maybe even fear. Not the fear of physical confrontation, but the fear of emotional truth. These two have history. They've battled in rings across the world. They've put each other through hell and back, but they've never stood across from each other like this. Vulnerable, exposed, real. Styles enters the ring, and the two men stand there, maybe 6 feet apart, just staring at each other. The crowd doesn't know whether to cheer or stay silent, so they do both, this weird mixture of anticipation and reverence washing over the entire arena. AJ is handed a microphone, and he slowly brings it up, never taking his eyes off Punk. What do you want, Punk? AJ's voice is steady, but there's an edge to it. Protection. A wall built from years of being burned by trust. Punk takes a deep breath. I want to apologize. The arena explodes. People are on their feet. Some are shouting in disbelief. Others are already emotional, and we're only 3 minutes into this segment. CM Punk, the man who never apologizes, who built an empire on never bending, never breaking, never saying sorry, just uttered those words to AJ Styles. I spent my entire career telling everyone I was the best, Punk continues, and you can hear the emotion building in his throat. I spent years convincing myself that I didn't need anyone, that respect was given, not earned, that I was above all of this. But standing here right now, looking at you, AJ, I realized something. I was wrong. The crowd is hanging on every single word. This isn't scripted entertainment. This feels like therapy. This feels like two grown men finally confronting demons they've carried for too long. You came into WWE, and you proved everything I always said about myself. You showed up every single night. You tore the house down. You made people believe in professional wrestling again. And instead of respecting that, instead of acknowledging what you were doing for this business, I resented you. I looked at you as competition instead of a brother. And for that, AJ, I'm sorry. AJ's jaw tightens. His eyes glisten under those bright arena lights. He looks down at the canvas, processing, digesting, feeling every ounce of weight those words carry. The crowd is chanting, "Thank you, Punk," now, but it almost feels inappropriate, because this isn't about them. This is about two legends having a moment that transcends wrestling. And before we go any further, I need you to do me a favor. If you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, If this story is hitting you the way it's hitting me, hit that like button. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know, because moments like this don't come around often. Subscribe to SLAMZONE and join a community that understands that wrestling isn't just about moves and matches, it's about moments that make you feel something real. We're building something special here, and I want you to be part of it. AJ finally looks up, and when he speaks, his voice is thick with emotion. You know what the crazy part is, Punk? I looked up to you. When you did your pipe bomb, when you walked out of this company with the championship, when you stood up and said all the things the rest of us were too afraid to say, you were my hero. You were the guy who proved that you didn't have to fit their mold to make it. You could be yourself and still be the best. Punk's eyes are red now. He's fighting it, but you can see the tears threatening to break through. So when I finally got here, AJ continues, all I wanted was your respect. All I wanted was for you to look at me and say, you belong here. But instead, you treated me like I was taking something from you. Like there wasn't room for both of us at the top, and that hurt, Punk. That really hurt. The emotion in the building is overwhelming. Grown men in the audience are wiping their eyes. This is the power of professional wrestling when it's done right. This is why we watch. This is why we care. Punk nods slowly. You're right, and I can't take that back. I can't give you those years. But what I can do is stand here right now and tell you the truth. You are phenomenal, AJ. You're everything I pretended to be. You're humble, you're consistent, you're real. You've earned everything you've got, and you deserve more. This business owes you everything, and so do I. The two men take a step closer to each other. The tension is palpable, but it's not aggressive. It's anticipation. It's healing. It's two warriors finally lowering their guards after years of unnecessary conflict. AJ extends his hand. I forgive you, Punk. And Punk, this man who's shaken 1,000 hands only to turn them into weapons, this man who's made a career out of distrust and defiance, takes that hand. He grips it tight. And then, in a moment that will be replayed for decades, he pulls AJ in and embraces him. A real, genuine, brother-to-brother embrace in the middle of that ring. The crowd is absolutely unglued. Tears are flowing freely now, both in the ring and in the stands. This is what wrestling is supposed to be. This is storytelling at its finest. This is two of the greatest to ever do it, showing the world that vulnerability isn't weakness, that growth is possible, that legends can evolve. They break the embrace, both men visibly emotional, and they stand there side by side as the crowd chants, "Thank you both. Thank you both." It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's the kind of moment that reminds you why you fell in love with this crazy beautiful business in the first place. But then the lights flicker, the mood shifts, and suddenly, the Titantron comes to life with a face neither man expected to see. The screen shows a figure in the shadows, and when they speak, their voice cuts through the emotion like a knife through silk. How touching, how absolutely beautiful. Two legends, making peace, healing wounds, showing the world that anything is possible. But let me ask you something, gentlemen. While you were apologizing to each other, while you were crying and hugging and playing therapist in my ring, did either of you stop to think about the target you just painted on yourselves? The figure steps into the light, and the arena erupts once more, but this time it's not celebration, it's shock, it's awe. It's the realization that this moment of peace just became the catalyst for something much bigger, something much more dangerous. And as Raw goes off the air with Punk and AJ staring at that screen, united now but facing an unknown threat, we're left with more questions than answers. What happens next? Who's coming for them? And can this newfound brotherhood survive what's about to come? If you made it this far, thank you for being part of the SLAMZONE family. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, drop a comment below telling me what you think happens next, and make sure those notifications are on, because we're going to be breaking down every single second of this story as it unfolds. This is just the beginning, and you're not going to want to miss what comes next. I'm your host, and this is SLAMZONE, where we don't just watch wrestling, we feel it. I'll see you in the next one.